Hello, hello.
This is not what you were expecting, was it?
It's not what, not what you or anyone was expecting at all.
Welcome, everybody, to tonight's stream.
This is going to be a recap of episodes 84 to 95 of our main campaign, as well as, I think, everything of Daggerheart so far, but we may just...
Episode 1 to 3.
Episode 1 to 3, yep, great. And yeah, we're going to go through a bunch of different things. However, I'm going to hand over to Danny first, who is going to talk about the amazing giveaway that we're running this month.
No pressure. So obviously Matt's tried and tested with this, so I'm going to try and do it as much justice as our esteemed DM, but he's not here, so it's like substitute teacher vibes, so I do apologise. So we have our giveaway to celebrate Malt and Magic turning 5. We've been doing this shit for 5 years now. You'd think we'd be good at it, but every day we try and strive to get better. So with it being quite a big milestone for us, we decided to do quite a big giveaway. So first prize for our giveaway, which runs throughout September, with winners being announced on our stream in October. First prize is the Daggerheart course set. Dave probably could have done some fanfare there, but I didn't give him any warning, so I thought...
No, and actually I thought yours was better, so I think that was a lot better.
We've got Daggerheart course set as our first prize, which I'm buzzing about. I've got one. It's on my shelf next to me, so I'm quite happy to be able to give someone to somebody else. Our second prize is a sexy dice tray set and carry bag from our friends at Trade and Tested. Our third prize, which we're going to give away to 5 winners, so you get 5 third prizes, which makes sense mathematically, is a Patreon 3-month Patreon subscription and exclusive homebrew drops. That's where we do our ad-free podcasts, our extra content, our Malt Magic Unrolled, which we do after our normal streams every week. There's a lot of bonus content on there, so giving away some subscriptions to that is always a winner for whoever's involved. And the way you can enter this is through Patreon subscriptions, which gets you like 3 tickets into the draw. A Twitch subscriber will get you 2 tickets. A Twitch follow, an Instagram follow, a TikTok follow, any social media follow gets you a ticket. You repost the giveaway post, tag us in it, share it, engage with the giveaway posts, also gets you tickets as well. If you use the hashtag Malt and Magic Turns 5, you get a little extra bonus ticket into the hat. And like I say, all the links and information is on our post in our link tree. On our bio, link in bio, hashtag link in bio. So you follow all the instructions on there, and like I say, we'll do the prize draw live on stream in October. Hopefully, I did it justice.
I think you did. Well done. So yeah, guys, if you've got any questions about our campaign or about Daggerheart, our Daggerheart campaign as well, pop a message in either the YouTube or Twitch chats, and we will be able to respond to them live.
Yes.
And I think what we need to do is, guys, you can also join the Discord. You can ask questions on there. We can answer either in real time, or we can collect them, and in our next recap, we'll be able to put them into our questions and answers that we're going to be bringing forward to you tonight. Without further ado, I say, well, let's get on. So let's roll that intro. Yeah, well, welcome back.
So I watch Matt do intros every week. Turns out they're harder than you think,
Yeah, they really are. They really, really are. Very much so. So well done to Matt for his amazing intros. He keeps it short and sweet, and he does it very, very well.
Yeah. But he also probably rewrites them. We did it off the cuff just then.
Yes, he did. But also he does have us distracting him the entire time beforehand. So again, fair play to the fact that he just zones into it.
It kind of shows the level of preparation. A peek behind the curtain there. Matt pre-writes his intros and rehearses them. We just hope for the best.
Yeah, and we just wing it because that's us in down to a T. So I think episodes that we're going to be talking about now are going to be starting off what feel like ages ago, and I'm sure we always say that. So we're going to start talking about the Astral Sea, where we decided. I was actually off that week. But the party
of all responsibility
decided,
there.
yeah, absolutely. No, I'm out. It's like fucking, wash my hands on that one. This delightful adventure, deciding that we're just going to skip through the Astral Sea to get through to see, I believe, Lex's brother, and to find the next item we were looking for. So, yeah, that quickly went sideways, didn't it?
What I love is when we do these recaps is there's so much hindsight that we can apply to where we're like,
oh my goodness,
fucking idiots. We do so much stupid stuff. Because if you think about the episodes that we've done, it's only 10, 11 episodes, which seems quite not a lot in the grand scheme of things. But actually, we've had like probably 3 story arcs over those episodes, and the first of which was a little couple of episodes stint in the Astral Sea. We thought to ourselves, look, we need to get from where we are to Lex's brother. He's got something to do with the Codex piece. It's going to be very important. It's a family reunion. It's important to Lex. Let's get there as quick as possible. So let's go through a portal into the Astral Sea, pop out the other side. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. We decided some fella called Jim said he could help us as a tour guide.
Fair play to Matt to make sure that we did not want to keep him on because he was a complete fraudster and had no freaking idea, and basically ended up, well, first of all, he blew up effectively, and the poor crew of that airship are currently stranded in the Astral Sea, and I take less responsibility than Jim should in that one. So
yes, on him, 100% on him.
100% on him, and we're not becoming the bad guys at all, and you can't say that. However, what it did mean is we got to meet a wonderful new character called Timora, played by the amazing Nikki, and she Nikki and both Timora were both great and very, very helpful. This very mysterious woman helping the party out, but sent by Jules' divine god, deity of sorts, called the Watcher, and I'm not going to try and pronounce his other alternative name because it's not at all how I spelt it in my notes, as is always the way, isn't it? It's just the way it happens.
Yeah. I
think it's Aeonis.
Aeneas,
or that.
Aeonius.
Yeah.
We'll call him the Watcher. It's easy to say. Is it? Yeah, it's easy to say. I think it's like an Irish spelling, maybe. Fuck knows. Matt loves his consonants and vowels.
It's probably Jeff. But yeah. Astral Sea. I mean, I think Jewel kind of didn't want to go. Really, wasn't quite sure, but was still interested to see what was going on. Obviously, her soul spent a bit of time there, so it was a bit concerning for her. However, it was very interesting.
I suppose it's a bit weird for Jewel because, like you said, you've got a bit of PTSD from when you died, and that's where your soul was rescued from. Yes. But at the same time, as you've made friends with the Watcher, and you're kind of like his champion in a way.
Then you want to see them in person, don't you?
You would have thought we'd have been safe. Not so much, because the Void had intercepted or bled into the Astral Sea more than we thought, and there were Void creatures there. Hence why Jim's dead. Operation Get Behind Jim, and then we all obviously had to face existential threats. It was quite, because I thought with the Watcher being, well, Lex thought with the Watcher being the new version of Kronos, essentially. Kronos gave up his title, became Primus, and then boom, the Watcher's the next in line. He'll all be good. He'll be fine. He'll watch over us, literally, metaphorically, figuratively.
All of that.
Plain sailing all the way through. But Matt was like, I'm not going to let you take a shortcut and get away with it. So we all had to face existential dread, essentially. We was all faced with our deepest personal fears. We had to overcome them, as well as physical battles with whatever the Void tried to throw at us. All while fighting on the dead corpses of gods.
Well, absolutely, which is absolutely crazy. A note to any D&D party is long travel doesn't mean you need to find a shortcut, because in D&D, funnily enough, you can montage. So we could have just travelled there. However, I did enjoy the astral plane trip, and hell, it was funny. It also meant it was, I think, actually, I'm sure that Matt would have been able to do it in any way, but it did seem plausible that was how then Timora was going to come and help us. So
yeah, and it allowed we actually did Matt a favour if you think about it, because it allowed for the guest star to come in, it allowed for Nikki to come in and absolutely nail it.
Yeah.
But it also allowed a massive lore drop via Nikki's character Timora for Matt to do, because it turned out that Timora was the reincarnated soul of a lost queen from the tomb we had previously explored, which is where we had to go to save you. So when we went to this tomb under the desert or wherever it was to get the astral necklace to save your soul, it turned out Timora had the same necklace on. It was one and the same, albeit we've got our own version now. She was the reincarnated soul. We obviously did a bit of gender assumption and assumed the tomb was a king. Turns out it was the tomb of a queen.
Yeah.
And it was the one and same Timora.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matt put us in in our place for that one as well. So we're fair play to him.
Yep. And that is probably another character that we promised we'd go back and help or see again, and we will never remember to do that, because we always forget.
I'm hoping that the Watcher can actually help us get Timora to help us, if that makes sense. Timora may well be stuck in the astral plane at the moment, but if there's any way that she can come and help us, nearer the end game, you kind of feel like a demigod would be able to do so. So
that's true.
I'm hopeful that actually what we can do is actually call on her aid, and maybe that will also give her some agency to, do what she wants. Maybe she doesn't want to come back.
Because we don't know where the final battle will take place yet. It could be in the void, it could be in the shadow realm, it could be in the astral plane. If all of the material plane has been consumed by the time we've sorted our own shit out, and the astral plane is the only safe place left, or the astral plane bleeds into the normal world because it's already been infected by the void, the overlap in that Venn diagram could get quite big.
It could get quite interesting. So yeah, Lord knows where that is actually going to be, because it could be anywhere. So yeah, we did leave a ship there. However, we did need to scarper pretty quickly once we'd actually found our route out.
Yes.
And once we did, there was some definite antics and flying out of the portal into the forest. We thought was a great idea. It didn't really go very well. Ended up partially splitting the party. And
because we were escaping that massive shadow creature where Timora was like, I'll hold him off, you shall not pass, while we escape essentially, and then we all ended up scattered and alone in the desert for a bit. Jungle, which then begins our second arc of the Inarian jungle, Lex's homecoming.
It does, and I think we all were expecting it to be very fun and interesting and a great reunion. How wrong we all were, however. I don't want to spoil how it turned out. It definitely was dicey to begin with. Jewel was lost. She had been flung out the portal and further away from the party, and Lex had to realise that Silas was holding some emotional baggage, and unfortunately his mum is catatonic from grief. So that kind of was a bit of a surprise. However, we did hear about the Inarian's Hand, this monster hunting guild, and I think that's been very interesting to hear. And again, it's nice to know that there are all these guilds and communities around the whole of the planet that we're all on, assuming it's not a flat disc on the back of a turtle. And crikey, it's been a roller coaster for your family, or Lex's family, isn't it?
Well, I suppose the first thing is, before we get into Lex's emotional trauma, with you being scattered to the winds when we first got there, we all landed together, so we kind of had ourselves and each other for comfort a little bit. Yes. You were completely isolated, alone in the jungle, and you were being hunted. Do you think that's had a lasting effect on Jewel and her actions since, or do you think she's now a bit more paranoid? Does does she feel a bit more protective, or feel like she needs to be protected more, or is she feeling more protective?
I think that there were still underlying issues that she had with the party. The major disagreement they had on the way towards the Crystalline Isle, and I think that it was quite good for her to be terrified for a day, travelling through a completely unknown jungle, and being followed by monsters and, as we found out, like weird T-Rexes. Because when she then found the party, not only was Lex not there initially, she did feel the overwhelming relief of actually being back in the same group of people, even though there had been frayed tensions between the two, between the group. So actually, that was probably, and it hasn't come up because again, everything's been so fast-paced, it's got to a point when maybe she was actually much happier once she had regrouped. So I think it has helped her, actually.
Yeah, because I suppose since then she's wanted to rush less headfirst into stuff.
Yes.
And if I think about future encounters, like when we get to the Underdark in a bit, and when we've met new characters or we've been suggested a course of action, Jewel has been a bit more, hang on, we will do it in our own terms, in our own way.
Yeah.
Let's think about this more strategically. Let's give it more than a couple of seconds thought. Let's try and go with logic and rather than emotion, and rather than just let's do that.
Yeah,
because obviously been burnt a couple of times.
She was very emotional in the past. It's not to say she isn't now, but yeah, I think she is. Leaning into that. Let's try and do this slightly more logically. Try to follow, I think, essentially what Lex's example. I'm going. We need to do this properly. And also, we need to do it for us. We don't need to be doing it for anyone else. How does this look from the outside? It's like, no, we're actually going to be quite selfish, but therefore still think about it.
Yeah, and it's like it's a bit of a flip round, because Lex seems to be becoming more emotionally led as we go through the stories, and you seem to be becoming more methodical and logical when we're having conversations about stuff, depending on the situation.
Hopefully, it does mean that Jewel and Lex do find a middle ground and don't just keep going the other ways. Actually find that more, forgive the term, human middle ground to it. More natural, I think. And that is about the fact that Jewel is growing up. I've said it a number of times. She's very young. And, she's certainly grown up now.
Grown up pretty fast. Trauma does that to you.
Yeah, a little bit. It really does. So yeah, no, her separation from the party definitely did change her, but I think it was in actually a healthy way, weirdly, and I think that her coming together with the party again really did improve her outlook on the whole party itself, and the fact that we've got to let these things go, and as we've seen it, she still is her snarky self, which we'll find later on. But otherwise, she is glad to be around the party, and maybe she needs to remember that when it calms down, if it ever does.
Because it won't. It's going to be absolute chaos until we're all dead or we've done what we need to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. But I think from Lex's perspective, it started off as, oh no, I've seen what I think to be my brother in a vision linked to the Codex piece. Is he going to be a bad guy? Is he going to be corrupted by whatever? And then when we land, I've not only got he's not evil, but he hates me, or seems to hate me and resents me because I've suddenly come back from the dead, according to him, even though I thought everyone else was dead.
Yeah.
And then it turns out not only is he alive, but my mother is still alive, but she is, like I say, in a catatonic state because her husband and her son are dead, but it turns out only one of those is true, and I'm not dead.
Yeah.
But I look like my father, so she thinks I'm him, and it's all absolute headfuck.
What's interesting, and I think we did actually cover this in one of the episodes, is how that very easily could have been also Lex's situation. Angry, catatonic, mentally unstable, it was purely him being shunted to the world of the realm of Mechanis, that basically meant that he, would you say suppressed, or would you say logically, methodically managed? Which one would you?
I would say both are true.
Yeah.
So I always
a little bit of suppression as well as actually trying to deal with it. Yeah.
I always think Lex is a bit of a Spock in the sense that he's always tried to suppress his human side, so his emotional side, and think with logic and reason, because that's how Mechanis taught him to deal with his problems. But actually, the suppression of those emotions detrimented him in terms of finding balance, hence why sometimes you have the wild magic surges.
Yeah.
That's why Lex gets more and more emotionally led or in tune with his emotions, because then it allows him to use his full potential of all of his abilities. Because essentially what I was doing is suppressing some of my power to do this other power that Primus bestowed upon me, but actually by keeping in tune with both, it makes both of them more powerful, if that makes sense. Although sometimes intense emotion still makes stuff happen. Like when I had an embrace with my mum, with Lex's mum and his brother, I inadvertently stopped time, so we were stuck in that moment together. But what I didn't realise I'd done is I'd inadvertently activated the power of the time stone that I have, the Mortal Keystone, which is the ring we got from Kimiriu that has the time stop spell essentially. So there's me thinking, fucking hell, I just stopped time. How did I do that? I'd activated that ring to stop time in that moment.
No, that's very interesting. That's very good. I just going back to your Lex's magic. I like the fact that essentially you're becoming more powerful than the individual parts that are made of it. So you're more than twice as powerful than each individual component, if that makes sense. Now, or becoming so. So,
and I think mechanically, D&D character rules wise, I'm still a clockwork sorcerer.
Yeah.
But kind of what I've got is feats or access to spells that Matt's helped me homebrew. Yeah. So I'm kind of almost like a pseudo semi multi-class with wild magic sorcerer. Yeah. But like I said, that's only through certain feats, or like I could wild magic surges if the RP allows for it. But yeah, it does. Yeah. It basically allowed me to have a couple of spells off the other stuff, but it works well, I think. Because then I can tap in when I'm role playing. I can tap into either one. So if it's like a situation where I'm like protecting my family or it's kicking off, I lean more into the emotional side of things. And then if it's just I've got to deal with this enemy and move on, then like logic Lex kicks in.
Yeah.
Because you'll notice as well, if we're in a fight and I keep missing with all my spells, I'm like, fuck you, lightning bolt everybody. Just like, all right, pull out my angry spells now. So I try and do it that way.
No, that's good. That does come through actually. That's very interesting. So, with you having this little bit of Lex having this family catch up, which I will say does end up with, I think, it being quite nice. Silas getting over his initial anger and grief about the whole thing. And again, not there's too much that you can do for your mum, but just the fact that I think she was a little happier in some way. And she's I suppose, it's kind of a bit like if somebody has Alzheimer's or dementias and they have those lucid moments where they're okay or they remember or they're themselves a little bit. She had a few of those while I was there, and I think Lexus took that to mean, okay, she's probably not fixed but on the mend in the right direction. She's better than she's better than he was when he found her. Yeah, you have left it in a better situation, and that's good. Jewel in her escapades did end up finding an ancient stone temple with a magical dagger named Isira. Shortly-ish afterwards, I think she did manage to have a short or long rest, I can't remember. She was then found by the rest of the party, so by certainly by Aegeus. I can't remember if Cavan was there. I think so. And two other what were they? The members of the Inarian's Hand, was it?
Yeah, because Cavan and Aegeus wanted to become members of the month. Aegeus wanted to become a monster hunter, didn't he? So they had to go out and do his first kill.
Yeah,
and I can't remember their names.
No, but it just so happened that it was the kill that he got was actually a T-Rex, the T-Rex that was actually chasing Jewel. Now she was in the fight as well, including these two other individuals. Maybe we'll be able to find their names in a minute. But yes, we did have that fight, and Aegeus pulled off the most insane, 100+ damage, killing blow. So that was very interesting. We then had Cog malfunctioning, being brought to.
Oh yeah, because I weren't here for them streams. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was malfunctioning near this temple, so we knew that there was some sort of connection. We did actually go back, get Lex, all came back as a group, and found that there are a long series of puzzles we need to go through to find the items. Again, they were actually cogs, and we needed to find them to enact this. Was it a portal to like a demi-plane or something that we ended up finding? Was that
essentially right? To find the codex piece, or at least unlock where the codex piece was? We had to first solve this mystery of the. It was almost like a trial, wasn't it? Of the three representatives. So it was represented by three gods, cogs. Sorry. So it was like the antler guy, the snake, and the wolf, wasn't it? Which then we had to. One of them was in the mouth of a statue, wasn't it? Or no, you found it when you killed the T-Rex.
We Cog and the dagger were both in connection to a what do you call it? A dais or a plinth.
Yep.
And that then opened up a portal, a slider down to this other room lower in the temple. That then gave us more information that meant that we needed to go out into the jungle to then find some more, to find these cogs. Now the first one, you're absolutely right, was in wasn't it? Oh, I don't know if it was a statue.
Like it was a skull,
wasn't it? It was a massive snake skull. So we found the first one. It's quite an interesting fight, that one as well. We have skipped over entirely the fact that Cavan befriended this massive dinosaur. Again, can't remember the name of it.
Stegosaurus called
Stegosaurus.
Tiddlywinks.
Tiddlywinks the Stegosaurus. So that was just brilliant. Aegeus had the complete inability to be able to ride it properly, and therefore was queasy the entire time. Jewel did continue to enjoy actually having the rooftops of the treetops to fly over to try and stay out of danger, keep a good eye. Very much enjoyed that. Maybe she should do that more often in cities.
Oh yeah, you turned into the panther from Jungle Book.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
100%.
And yeah, we went to go and find these two other ones. Forgive me, I can't.
One of them was at the bottom of a lake, a wolf lake.
That was the second one, yeah. So there's Wolf Lake, and Cavan, absolute legend, dove down and got it, which was absolutely crazy.
He did nearly drown.
He did nearly drown. He did make it back.
He dived down, and then Silas had to save him and drag them both up. And then that's when there was Cavan had I think his pride was probably bruised a little bit by him being saved by my brother, because there was that weird dichotomy where Cavan was kind of like my pseudo big brother, and then my actual big brother was there, and then I was like, "Oh, you're both brotherly to me," and then them two were kind of like competing almost for who's the strongest, who's the biggest badass, and all of that, which was quite fun.
Yeah. Can you remember where the third one was?
Yes, and then we got the other
was
two.
hidden in the temple itself, wasn't it?
And then we went to the temple, and there was that statue, and it was almost like there was magical force field around it, and when you see through the glitch, it was there. Yeah. So then we had to figure out how to untrap it from where it was in the force field, essentially. And that's when Aegeus used his gem of true sight to try and see through the magic to try and find the cog. Yeah. And that's when he see Callum's true form.
Yeah.
Which then revealed to Aegeus only that Callum is not who he appeared to be. But he played it cool and pretended he didn't notice with amazing performance / deception roll.
Yeah. Unfortunately, however, the subsequent conversation that we all had afterwards did mean that Callum got suspicious and did inevitably exit stage right. So yes, I mean, I suppose for the best, because then he isn't gathering any more information on us. But it would have been nice to ambush him. However, go on.
I was going to say, given Callum's betrayal and how hard it hit us all, now we're like not in character and not in stream. Thinking back with hindsight, do you think there was any clues or any red flags or anything that we missed?
I've already thought back and looked back, and none whatsoever. Except for one period of time, and that was literally him helping us initially. Right. Now, if you think about it, he was there at More Stacy. He was in the room, and he was just another person looking for the issues that are going on. So, and bearing in mind that we're literally talking to one of the right hands of
and the Elders of More Stacy is one of them as well.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So you got Leora. Leora Windwhisper is one of the three triumvirate, and they literally just gave us a plant straight away, and it was like, so that is the only time they would go, oh yeah. I hadn't twigged yet. The way we met Callum and the way he decided to join our mission was very convenient, actually, thinking back on it. Well, annoyingly,
but then
Matt played into the fact that we wanted an extra NPC, so we lapped him up as the players.
He knows we love adopting NPCs, but then also in the D&D format, you do get drawn into, look, we need to make this group work quicker than you usually would for RP reasons. We've met in a tavern, let's all be friends straight away. So there was an element of that. Plus, Matt hooked me and you in because he is a grown-up character of a kid we knew in campaign 1.
Yep, absolutely.
But we should have known he hated us in campaign 1. That kid.
Yeah, he did.
We should have twigged he would hate us now.
So that, and he was, what do you say, distant for the first few bits, and we were like, why are you trying to do this? And then of course it was someone has my father, and
we got suspicious of him, and then that is a pretty good cover story, to be fair, to say, look, somebody's kidnapped my father and he's making me do this against me will, and we were like, oh, say no more then. That's perfectly fine.
So again, it could well be that he orchestrated his own capture, and he got back and he was like, whew, skipped that one, and then we went to go rescue him, and he's probably like, oh fuck, now I have to follow them again. There we are. I mean, if we follow the follow that, he has been helpful. He has played his part very well. But when you actually realise like how much he hasn't done to help, you're like, oh yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, because I suppose in battles he's only ever killed, if you're a bad guy, disposable characters.
Yeah.
He didn't help us stop people escape.
No.
He helped us, when we was...
He's never helped us close a portal, and not...
No.
Again, I'm sure...
Because when we was with Fletch, when Fletch and Josh first joined, as their characters, him and Takami were just at the portal batting people away, but at no point did he try and close the portal or anything like that.
No. I'm very curious as to... I mean, again, pulling back the curtain, this is D&D. I played his character in fights multiple times. I know he's roughly the same level we are. However, in RP, he may be way more powerful. And he could very well be... Or may not. He may not. Like, he's still a
powerful henchman, then.
A formidable enemy now. Now he's left. Now,
if you think about it, when you said he orchestrated his capture, who wants Shadow Portals taken away, which was the Frostveil, Lord of the Frost. Mm-hmm. So actually, we helped him remove a Fey chess piece off the board, who is one of the most powerful Fey.
Yep.
And then when we got the other Codex piece from the Unseelie Queen, we thought we should have probably twigged then that she was actually quite willing to help. Obviously, we were frozen in time. Callum's version of events was, she was very helpful, actually. She just gave me the piece, and now I'm her champion. that actually is quite suspicious, knowing how we've dealt with the Fae before and they're tricky motherfuckers and it shouldn't be that easy. But then, flip side, knowing we know what's happened now, we know that's not how it went down. But actually, he's also removed another Fae piece off the board.
Yeah.
And if the Fae portals and the Shadow Realm are kind of opposite ends of the spectrum, where the Fae makes the Shadow Realm less powerful, and the more powerful the Shadow Realm becomes, the less powerful the Fae becomes. If we're removing Fae chess pieces off the board, there's less opposition for the bad guys, I suppose. So we've helped him remove some of his enemies.
Yeah, and canonically in D&D, the Fae are very strong. They are, the Archfaes are demigods.
Yeah.
So to weaken the power of the Fae probably makes a hell of a impact on everything else. We know that the normal pantheon of gods have buggered off. Whether as a result, whether as the starting to this, we don't know. Whatever it is, yes, there are gods that are coming in to fill their place. But again, they're quite weak because of everything that the Shadow Lord's doing. So yeah,
and if you want to take over darkness, so the Shrouded Lord, obviously he's got void magic and everything, but he uses shadow creatures and darkness as well, and dark shadow magic.
Yeah.
Which is what Klein uses, which is what Aegeus has. If you want to rule shadow and darkness, it makes sense to get rid of the Queen of Air and Darkness, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So to take her power, to strip her of her power is crazy. So yes, we found out that Callum was a betraying bastard.
We've also glossed over the fact that he has one of the Codex pieces. We trusted him enough that he has the Codex piece that we took from the Feywild. Luckily, I had the Mortal Keystone, which is the time ring Zakami gave me. And when we got the Codex piece, I suppose actually, yeah, we need to backtrack, don't we? So we opened the portal after Callum's betrayal, that we didn't know was a betrayal for a start. We then opened the portal or the gateway to the Land of the Beasts, which was where that lion man was guarding it. We passed his test, we gained entry because I was the Observer, which is an official title, which is, I suppose, a fated person who should be able to do what we're about to do. Yeah. We then gained entry to the Land of the Beasts, where we managed to get the Celestial Shard, which is the
Celestial Shard, yes,
of pure radiant light.
Yeah.
Because we found it at a temple, didn't we? So we had to go through trials to get that as well, which was no mean feat.
That was no mean feat. Now, the party was again split here. Both Aegeus and Cavern were shunted off to the. They were shunted to stay in the on the mortal plane. We were shunted off, as you say, to the Beastlands. We got the Celestial Shard, and would you say Callum reappeared more in an ominous voiceover, confirmed his betrayal, and as you say, confirming that he's got one of the Codex pieces and we don't anymore.
Yeah, because we thought we had 3.
Yeah,
and then he goes, you've only got 2, and I was like, no, we haven't. We've got. Oh no, he's got one.
He's got the Fey amulet, so he's got the one from the Unseelie Queen. So yes, we officially know that at this stage. Obviously, Aegeus is going mad with the information, but the party is split. We do return back to the mortal plane.
Yes, though, because when we're in the Beastlands, there is a void that breaks through, isn't there? And we use a Celestial Shard to kill it, because what we find out is the radiant light that comes off the Celestial Shard is pretty much the only thing that can repel the void. And that was the reason why it formed part of the Codex, because it can it's literally the light against the darkness. So it's probably one of the most powerful Codex pieces so far.
It is, absolutely, and there always has to. I say always. It makes sense that there's always a very powerful piece of it. However, it is interesting. Yeah, as we know, we aren't trying to just repair portals. We're not just trying to seal the Shadow Lord away. We're trying to seal them away in time and space. Hence, the other items are required, because we don't just need to shut him in a room. It's to shut him in a room 50 million years ago. That's the whole thing that we need to do. So, yeah, hence, as you say, one of the most powerful pieces. Glad we've got that one, but we do need to get the Fey amulet back from Callum. So we know in our future there is going to be one hell of a battle, and very much is a get in line, because we all want to kill him.
Yeah.
That's
what worries me for the future. You know, there is going to be a reckoning where we're going to have a battle royale with Callum, but who's he going to bring with him? Because if he brings Klein or Leora,
or both,
them three combined, I think it'd be too powerful for us all.
Could very well be. Now we just have to hope that therefore the hubris of either Callum, the Shrouded Lord, or any of the above are that they are going to send him back or in our way. And the hubris is going to mean that we actually do manage to take him on and win.
Yeah.
So yeah, we land on the east side of our Enwith map, don't we?
Yep.
We later find that Edges and Cavern were they landed outside of. Can you remember the
Rosingdom? So they land where we think I suppose the biggest or the most powerful constituency of the Shrouded Lord and the Triumvirate is. Because
we pretty much get that confirmed, because they're then almost immediately not attacked but swarmed upon by creatures that they cannot survive, so they just have to leg it. We'll find out when they rejoin us, but they do. We end up at the side of a mountain. We do have Silas with us, and of course Silas needs to take care of Lex and Silas's mum. So we're like, well, we need to get you back, but we also need to carry on ourselves. Find our way up this mountain, and on our way up, gets a little exciting. Both Lex and Silas, cop it and nearly fall the entire way down the mountain again. But we do also see that we are being watched, and there is a silhouette of someone who is observing our every move. We do find our way into a safe cave, however, and we find a dead dwarf. We find later on the information about that dwarf is basically he was sick. He was part of a group, and he was basically too sick to carry on, and unfortunately was just left there. It shows a little bit of the history of the area that we're in. It used to be held by dwarfs, and now held by the Dark Elves. What are they called? The other ones? What are they actually called?
Drow.
Thank you. So,
no, is it Drow? Yeah, it is Drow, isn't it?
We find all this lot out, sort of over time. But yeah, as we...
And this is where, as we take watch, I was like, Silas kept saying, I need to get back to Mum. I was like, no, everything's fine. I need you here with me. And then he goes, okay, I'll keep first watch, and then does an Irish goodbye and just fucking leaves.
Goodbye. Yeah. What we also find out is, because we then message him with the stone, he has very likely called upon the giant eagles of Lord of the Rings, and is currently flying at great speed back. And fair play to him. And again, I suppose the question is, why didn't we ask him, why didn't you get us some eagles?
Come on.
But yes, so it's literally at that point, it's just Lex and Jewel at this stage, and they head on up the mountain looking for the entrance into the Underdark, where they believe they need to go.
Because we are hunting for the next codex piece, because we thought, right, in lieu of everybody else, Callum's got one, the walls are closing in, times of the difference, we just got to get all the codex pieces and do what we can. So we're looking for the Abyssal Core codex piece now, which we know from a vision is underground deep, which is where the Underdark comes to play, which is our third arc of this little stint of episodes.
It is. So yeah, the Underdark, episodes 92 to 95, sorry. We find again a very nice addition for temporarily. This is really funny, actually. So we have a guest star on. They play. Can you remember his name? I can't remember what the character's name was now.
Suri.
Suri. Suri's helping us for this episode, and both Danny and I, as players, completely forget that he's on here for one episode. So we come up with this amazing plan.
Which is a 2 to 3 episode plan.
Yeah, and we forget that. So I legitimately forget. We're like, yeah, I know we're near the end of the episode, but we'll just do the next episode. Completely forgetting he's not going to be there. We come up with this amazing plan. But yes, so we meet Suri. We, as a collective group, try and find our way into it. Now, we were going to go through the main entrance. We then find that actually there's a better way. There's a sneaky way in.
We find a map, don't we?
We do find a map. So this was actually where it was actually quite useful. Jewel found a cache of items, information, food, and so on and so forth. And I think it was crossbow bolts, if I recall correctly. And this was all from her knowledge of the. Oh crikey, my brain is going tonight. But
basically got a Call of Duty loadout drop.
I did basically, yeah. And again, from her backstory, from the Serpent's Cloak, that's the word. So they handled that out there. That map was incredibly helpful and did allow us to find this other way in. A short puzzle that we managed to figure out not too badly. There was only one mess up, and then we made a way in. So in terms of doors and secret stuff, we got through that one pretty damn quickly. Found our way in. We very quickly then lost Suri to a knows where, and we then regrouped with Aegeus and Cavan. They were running away from Rosendum and were given passage by the ferryman. Is it Charon? I don't know.
Yep, Charon saved them because they were being chased by wraiths and shadow creatures, and Charon basically went, yeah, come through the Valley of Death and I'll drop you where you need to go. But because our grand plan was, you're an elf, you look a bit like a drow, we'll dress you up as a drow, like prank TV style in prosthetics and makeup and clothes. You walk us in as prisoners, we'll go through the city, and then we'll find our way down and get the Abyssal Court. He then disappears. We're stood there shackled just in the middle of the road like, fuck, what do we do?
Now what do we do? Yeah.
But not just to sort of go back a little bit with the Suri thing, we spent half the episode not trusting him because, we've just found out Callum's betrayed us.
Yeah.
Jim was the shittest new ally we've ever had.
Absolutely. Tamora was good.
Paranoia Tamora was good, but since then everything's gone to shit. Every person we knew is betraying us. New people are dog shit and they're not worth the salt paper they're written on and stuff like that. So paranoia is at all-time high. So actually the test we made Suri go through to prove he was worthy, because now Cog scans everybody to see if they've got any shadow dark stuff, because we realised when, we forgot to mention this, Aegeus see Callum's true form with his true sight. Turns out Cog, who has true sight, has seen him that way all along, but didn't think to mention it because we didn't mention it.
No, and again, to be fair, fair play, he's not a player character. But
so now we get Cog to scan everybody to make sure they're not shadow.
Scans everyone, and we do put him through the ring. And fair play to Steve, to our guest on, who really did manage to do it justice. Again, it's very difficult to come on for one episode, for one 3-hour episode, and just gel so well that we completely forgot that he wasn't coming back for the following episodes. We hope to see Steve and Suri later, because we are fully intending on rescuing his character. We do potentially know where he is, so that, again, that's why it's like, well, we're just going to just randomly just disappear again on us. So yeah, we did regroup with Cavan and Aegeus, and some clutch spells from Aegeus did mean that we avoided capture. But we then met a very interesting individual, and they were going to help us get into the city. And again, can you remember her name?
It was the what they called, like, Driders. It was like a drow spider hybrid thing, wasn't it?
Yes. And they were going to help us get in. but were being very weird. Now, we didn't know that was just whether it was, that is what Monahavari people are like, or whether that was they were suspicious. And
I mean, considering we're in a seedy place, or what looks to be a seedy place, they took us to a very suspect part of town.
And were telling us stuff that, was very dodgy. They were.
It's like if you ever go to a part of the world where you have to make sure you get reputable taxis, because if somebody goes, "Come with me, I'll show you where to go," you end up getting kidnapped. It was kind of that sort of vibe. When
that was almost exactly what was happening to us. So,
you're being suspiciously helpful.
yeah. So no, it was. Thankfully, we twigged that quite quickly and decided, let's get out of here. A rather clutch way of getting the whole party into the bag of holding, and Jewel being able to scarper out of there with some of her magic did mean that we got out of there. That was a fucking funny scene. Some good clips from that episode of everyone his approach to trying to get into a bag of holding. We got dives. We got, oh no, just put it over my head and put it down. Like people would dipping their toe in. Yeah.
Like it's the North Sea.
It was very funny. So we did all of that one, and then bugger me, we lost Lex to the same thing that Suri got caught up by. But these archway symbols, glyphs that basically capture you. So we're then rushing to try and find more information. I think Cavan at this point had sent off a crow. Is it Crow that he had?
Yeah, his companion, isn't it?
Yeah, and to try and get more information, and that led us towards I'll find it, Mara Blackveil's cousin, I believe.
Yes, because we figured out. Well, Lex didn't figure it out because he fell for the trap that these glyphs in these archways.
Yeah. You
hear the voices of your loved ones. It pulls you in, and then you disappear. We don't know where they go or what they're doing when they're there. All you know is they're on the same plane, but they're somewhere, because you nearly fell for it, and Edgius nearly fell for it, Cavan nearly fell for it, but you obviously made the right save.
We did eventually find out that basically that is the way that this whole city is a city of spies and lies, and it is basically a drug trafficking and people trafficking city. So they just capture people. The standard, people of the city don't get caught up by it, but those who are tourists like us and travelling people will get unscrupulously just whipped up and dumped into these places. We find all this information out from Mara Blackveil's cousin, and we then want to therefore go, well, that's more important than what we're looking for, because we can't work out where this next artifact is. No one can really find out where it is from our descriptions. We know because we've kind of seen it, but we can't be like, oh, it's room 213 in this very posh hotel, because it's like,
because when you get the vision and you just see this abyssal core, this bright red shining thing in a room full of bioluminescent mushrooms, you think, fuck it, that's the most obvious thing to find in the world. There, it turns out the whole thing's full of bioluminescent mushrooms and spores and stuff, and actually nobody will tell you anything. So actually trying to get intel on where it is impossible.
Again, that's a very good thing to say. We are entirely skipping over the descriptive commentaries that Matt gave about the city, and to be honest, it was one of the most awe-inspiring and jaw-dropping descriptions I've ever heard of a city. That it felt like I was there, overlooking this cliff, underground, over this city. Just the fair play to Matt. The descriptions of it were incredible.
When you play Assassin's Creed and you go to those high points, and then it does the bird's eye, raven's eye view of the area you've just unlocked on the map or whatever. It was kind of like that. As he was describing it, I felt like I was getting that bird's eye flyover of it. And it is one of the places that is one of our Patreon homebrew drops, because Matt's done Mara Blackveil's guide to Monahavari. I'm going to say it wrong. Guide to the Underdark, basically, through the eyes of Mara Blackvow, which is fucking cool.
Yes, guys, get onto Patreon if you want to check that out, and there'll be plenty more on there as we go.
We need a shameless plug button, so every time we do a shameless plug of ourselves, we press it in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say, it was rather interesting that when Cavan meeting Mara's cousin, the tensions were high and not sexual either, even though that would have been weird as well. It was interesting. I mean, again, I get it.
He didn't trust her for a start. He thought it was an illusion, trying to trick him.
Like illusions, or just again, like we've already been tricked by this Spider Woman before, and it's like just no trust here whatsoever. Finally got trust there. Took a while.
You have to get past the edges, his first impressions as well, which is always people want to stab him rather than say hello.
Oh, 100%, especially as he gets their name wrong every single time, and everyone just lays into it, and he's just like, no, I definitely heard that your name was Marble, or whatever it was, So, we got past all of that, and we managed to then figure out that actually saving Lex and Suri is top priority. This wasn't let's go and get that and then go and find them. No. You are going to be being tortured for information, and then very likely sold on to the lowest bidder. So, at that point we're like, well, okay, let's go find them.
Because I wasn't here for this episode, hence why Lex disappeared, because Danny wasn't here physically for the stream, and that's when we learned about another organisation. So we've got
Serpent's Cloak, the Silent Order of Syphilis.
Silent Order of Syphilis. Then we've got the Triumphant and the Shrouded Lord, whatever they're doing, and then we've got Anarian's Hand, which is the Hunters of the Jungle. And then we've also got
this
the
lovely
Quieted.
sinister one, the Quieted.
Another sinister one called the Quieted, who basically steal Earth surface dwellers and human traffic. Essentially.
Which, of course, immediately puts us on a side quest of eradicating this particular band of miscreants, which, again, hopefully is simply a happenstance of finding Lex and Suri. So we do.
If this is an all-powerful kind of mafia vibe in the Underdark, if anybody's going to have information or even have it in their possession, the Codex piece is going to be these guys, right?
Likely is. So, we were probably going to end up there anyway, and we did. So after a long rest that was long overdue for many of our party.
You had to save me straight away, but you went to sleep first.
We did. Well, Edgius
it was that urgent we needed to rest.
Yeah, absolutely. Edgius did decide to spaff all his spells trying to get to us. So Flare Play, he was trying to just get to us. But it did mean that, unfortunately, some of the party needed the rest. The other party members didn't. But I suppose it was, again, one of those ones of, we do need to do it sooner rather than later. So it felt like the right time, and we then descended into the quieter tunnels, which were like hidden, but you had to find the quietest, darkest corners, and you would find an entrance. There'll be many in the city, and but likely what we would need to do is go back to where they were initially caught. So we knew we had to go back to that area. Heading down in, we find the quieter tunnels, and we mount a rescue. Now, I don't know if anyone else caught it, and I'm going to now give it away. To any of either the players and or our viewers. If you didn't catch it, the enemies we went up against were the Flood from Halo. Matt again did a wonderful description of it, and this is the thing, we've actually changed, and we've moved from using a battle map every time. We will use them at times, but we do try to do more theatre of the mind. So there wasn't just a picture of these things. So Matt's description of these immediately brought like a tingle down my spine as I realised that we were fighting the Flood out of Halo, and very, very, well done to him for that one. I enjoyed it very much, and I hope that we're going to be in a similar sort of dungeon crawl as we go through. I know that what we have done is basically Lex found a way out and has joined the party near the end of our battle. I'll be entirely honest, I don't actually remember whether we finished that battle or not.
The the episode ended on a cliffhanger mid-battle with kind of me bursting onto the scene via a massive blast of arcane energy. So I've kind of broken free of my shackles, it would appear.
Yeah.
To join the fight, just in time for me to be there for the next episode. How convenient.
Absolutely, yeah. Leading us, therefore, onto what could be the most fun dungeons crawl we've had in a while, to find Suri, break up this organisation, and potentially hopefully find information, if not the actual thing itself, of what we're looking for.
I feel like the interrogations we've gone where we've done the torture route with like the priests back in Union City, and that seemed to be we were like, oh, actually we've gone too far doing that. Let's go back and just do normal interrogations. And then we interrogated that dude under the cells, and then he mugged us off, did some magic and fucked off. So it was like, actually we can't be too nice in our interrogation because then that doesn't work either. So like, what we're going to do with these guys? Are we just going to kick ass and take names? Are we going to go in guns blazing, shoot first, ask questions later?
I think it's going to come down to, if they are like the creatures we're currently fighting, they are mindless individuals that have been tortured into this mutation. We just need to cut down. They are your standard,
cannon fodder
that we're going to have to cut down. However, we find anyone intelligent there, and we're going to have to try and interrogate them for information. So it's going to be that rather fast-paced and running things decision by decision. Is whether it is a mindless group of the Flood, or whether it's going to be capturing someone of the Quieted themselves. We could come up against some very interesting scenarios, because the Quieted do use silence and dark spells potentially and that could be quite difficult to get past and get by. So there could be some very interesting fights.
So if they just cast darkness on the battlefield, for example, only Cog and Edgius with his true sight would be able to see.
Yeah. But then it's like, okay, so are any of us going to be able to work on any blind sight or anything?
And how are we going to strategize if they cast like Cone of Silence or something?
Exactly. Then it's going to have to be that we really work well as a team, So I'm very interested to see what how we get through this in a cohesive manner.
And logically, us now we can say, oh, we need to interrogate some. But Lex has just been captured, so he's going to be pissed off.
Yeah.
The other characters are going to be pissed off that Lex has been kidnapped as well.
Yeah.
So is any of us going to go, hang on a minute, we should probably interrogate one of these guys? It'll probably be Jewel or Lex, probably, having a logical thought. But depends how the fight goes. If it starts going wrong, it might just be we drop a nuke, fuck everybody off.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, again, what we have to remember is the fact that we are there for more than just Lex. So we are trying to find Suri as well as information, and we're going to obviously continue through that. So, yeah, that's where we're heading, really. It's been how would you say, since our last recap, that the progress that our characters have made? How would you score it?
I think emotionally, probably we have grown more, and we're more invested now than ever post betrayal by Callum. I think we're probably now more invested because we were wavering. There's like, what's the point? We're going to lose. But now we've got spite to fuel us a bit. Yeah. I think we've got a renewed vigor to fucking finish this.
Yeah.
But I do think, plot-wise for the characters, we've took a step back because Callum has took the piece. We're missing a codex piece. We did have 3. We've now only got 2, and we're looking to get a 3rd. So I do think we've took a step back. But I suppose what we've done is, outside of the characters disappearing and we're having to go rescue people, we have been a bit more blinkered and had a bit more tunnel vision of, we need to finish this now. Yeah. Stop with all of the distractions. Like, with Silas left, I could have fought that. But actually was like, actually, no, that's probably the right thing. Cavan's obviously Mara's not with Mara, and that pains him every day. So it's like, right, we need to just finish this now as quickly as possible so we can get back to our lives. We've actually got more family to get back to than we thought.
Yeah. I think again that reminder that we're doing this not just out of vengeance, and we're doing this for loved ones. Edgius is kind of the only one who currently isn't doing it for loved ones. Well, I suppose he is because he wants to get his memory back. So maybe we just need to remind ourselves of that.
His growing love for Takami. So we're all increasingly getting people to fight for it. It was, let's save the world because it's the right thing to do. Actually, it's the people within the world that we're fighting for that's becoming more important. Actually, so I've got a brother and a mother again.
You've got your
family.
You're doing it for.
Cavan's got a wife. Edgius has got a love interest now, and also the fuel to get the memory back of his own son.
Yeah.
So
no, it's all coming together that we do definitely have something we're doing this for.
Because Edgius just wants to, speaking for obviously Bodhi for the minute, Edgius wants to ultimately die. That's his ultimate aim. But he's finding he's got more and more to live for.
Yeah.
Actually,
is that going to change?
If he does give up and die and go to the ninth gate, the realm of death where Sharon is being infected by the void anyway. So actually, he can't go to his resting place because his resting place is getting fucked up. So he needs to finish this to be able to be at rest, regardless whether that's on this earth or
it's a very interesting conundrum for him because it may well be that he gets the ninth gate and can't pass yet. In fact, I think we found that was a thing. He's tethered to Klein.
Yep.
Yes, so he can't yet.
So they want actually. So if we kill Klein, it kind of kills Edgius, which he's okay with. But you need to stop the void coming in so he can actually be at peace once he does officially die.
So he can indeed, yeah. Oh, it's all very interesting. No, I agree with you. I think we've been quite, in a good way, tunnel visioned now. Not jumping off on random things we need to do. The minimalist side quest simply to get our party back together is the widest we've gone off track.
That's only because in real life our calendars meant we couldn't be on stream altogether.
Yeah,
so we've had to kind of make side quests out of it.
But is it 5 codex pieces in total?
Yes, so you've got the Mortal Keystone, which is the time ring that we've got.
Yep.
The other one is, let me just got it because I've got quests here. You've got the Mortal Keystone, which is the boundary between past and future. So that helps us trap the Shrouded Lord outside of time, essentially.
Yep.
The Feywild Amulet, which this is one Callum's now got, the bastard, which is the more, that was the first consciousness, the reality. So that's how you move them out of space. So you've got the key time, and then that one moves them out of space. You've got the Celestial Shard, which is the light that fights the dark.
That's the one that essentially will heal all of these,
kill the void.
Yep.
Basically. The Abyssal Core, which is the one we're after now, which was the first material essence, defining what's real and physical. So that will probably help make the physical cage to trap him in.
Yep.
If that's not fit, you know what I mean. And then we've got the Elemental Seal, which was the force that separates stillness from existence. So I suppose that will also help moving from material planes.
Sounds very much like the lock and key to finish it all off. Now, what I find... So, we actually know where...
The Abyssal Core is.
3 out of the 5 are. We do also know where this 4th one is. We're nearby, hopefully. And then... as you say, do we know where the Abyssal Core is? Is that the last one? No.
So we're after the Abyssal Core now.
Yeah.
All we know is it's in a subterranean chamber with glowing red mushrooms, and it's a dark amulet with a red gemstone in the middle.
That was it. It's the last one. We won't know.
The Elemental Seal.
The Elemental Seal. Yeah.
All we know is the only clue we've had is a swirling storm of all 4 elements at the centre, with a great being atop a platform. So, I mean, that could be anything. So I think we need the Abyssal Core.
Yeah, it does sound, however, like it's probably on the celestial plane, though. So that's a fun one.
So we'll have to probably come up against elementals to fight it, obviously. But that's the Elemental Seal. So that you're right, that is definitely the padlock for the cage.
Yeah. Now I think, therefore, when we find these 2 extra ones, what I'm trying to remember or realise is so what we need to do is get these, but we do actually know where most of them are. The fact that yes, Callum's got one is a bad thing. We still know where it is. So let's hope. Let's hope for the best on that one. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it, and anyone who is joining in on this recap, or if you are joining us now, listen to all the recaps. It will catch you up quickly. Of course, if you want to watch the episodes, we would love you to, but if that's too quick, these recaps are why we do that, so that you can catch up, because we do long-form, multi-year campaigns. So these are definitely the ones that will catch you up. You'll be pleased to hear, however, that I think for the rest of the year we're pretty much on campaign 2. There's like 1 or 2 other episodes we're going to do or something else, but otherwise we are basically cleanly into campaign 2, and we are going to advance this story nice and fast. So hopefully
we bloody hope so.
We all want that as well,
as long as the roles allow.
Yeah, the roles in the RP, and I know that we have control over the RP, but we kind of do and we don't, because the RP just goes wherever it wants. It's incredible how much it has a mind of its own.
100%.
But we do enjoy it, and we hope that you do too. So I'm going to suggest that we go for a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about our Daggerheart series. For anyone who doesn't know, obviously our main campaign is D&D 5e, but we have started and we have thoroughly enjoyed playing the new system of Daggerheart. Very good fun, and does lend itself to our particular playstyle, which is the more RP but still the fun stuff that you can do in the roles and so on and so forth. So we'll talk about more about that after the break. So we shall see you in a minute. Thank you ever so much indeed, and we'll be back soon.
Hey.
Hello, welcome back.
Welcome back.
I hope you had a chance to stretch your legs, grab yourself a drink.
I did,
and
thank you.
Go
You weren't talking to me though, were you?
No, I really wasn't. I don't care about you. I don't care about you. I just care about the news.
That's the kind of tight-knit community we are, guys. Dave's not bothered about my comfort as long as you guys are all right.
That's it. We're here for your listening and viewing pleasure, and I apologise that those viewers actually have to look at us. I apologise for that. As you can
I go
also
through
hear,
hours of hair and makeup every week before we do this.
as you can
Still
also
look
hear,
Mr. Shovels.
I have the dulcet tones of someone who's currently trying to get over the flu / a head cold. It's kind of one of those ones that's gone from flu to a head cold now. So do bear with me, and my apologies for the occasional cough that I have to do. But yes, let's talk about Daggerheart. We haven't actually talked about it in any of our recaps, I don't believe.
No, because it was just supposed to be a little one-shot, a little dipping our toe in the water of Daggerheart, wasn't it?
Absolutely. So we're just going to give it a go, see what happens. And my goodness, did it grab us by the short and curlies, and we haven't just loved it ever since. It's great. Now, yes, I think like with any system, there are flaws with it and there are great points with it. The point is we are so enamoured by it at the moment, we don't really care about any of its flaws that we may have even found. I don't know. I know that Bodhi has some ideas on it that it can be kind of complex, even though it's meant to be more RP orientated, and I see exactly where it's coming from. It's definitely easier, I feel, to get into than it is D&D. Certainly if you're more of the RPer, which our party is. If you want those rules of 5e, and don't get me wrong, we love it, it's our main campaign and probably will continue to be so, we have thoroughly enjoyed and will continue to thoroughly enjoy 5e. But Daggerheart really does fall in to the more RP side of gameplay with some rules. Also the great thing is we're playing it as a very light-hearted campaign mini-series, and we've seen examples from Critical Role themselves of how you can play it whole unbelievably dark. We're not doing that because our main campaign is quite dark, even though we throw some humour into it every now and then. It's kind of dark, so we're playing it in the very much uplifting, comical, light-hearted, just shenanigans, and it lends itself to that so unbelievably well.
And I think with the Daggerheart, because it can be fast and loose, like the combat's free flowing, it's not turn based. It literally is, if you've got the spotlight, do what you want essentially, and it's more cinematic in its descriptions. Where I think, if you haven't, you need to take the time to read it quite a few times. And if you win the Daggerheart set, through our prize draw, you'll be able to do this. Shameless plug.
Yeah.
So I think
Giveaway.
some of the complicated mechanics that are hard to get your head around for a start is maybe the hope versus fear, and when you can use hope, when you can use fear, and when hope and fear doesn't count for your dice. Like reaction rolls don't have hope and fear, so that sort of mechanic can be quite alien if you're coming at it from new. And I think the HP mechanic, so you have armor slots that reduce the amount of threshold damage you take, which then means the number of armor slots you need to do. So you've got thresholds. If it's a number between this threshold, you mark 1 HP, between this threshold 2 HP, and above that is 3, and then your armor slots reduce those thresholds. That was quite hard to get a head around for a start, I think.
Initially, I don't know whether you agree with this, Danny, it felt initially more complicated than the HP system of 5e, until I realised what it was, and then realised it's easier.
Once you get it, it makes perfect sense. Yeah. But the way I just explained it, I probably even made it sound more complicated than it is.
But that's the point, actually. And I think, and as I say, it's one of these ones of like, they've done a lot of testing for it. They wanted to find something that was just different than just here's your pool of HP and this is it. Because what we've seen there, and actually the way that we've had Josh from Roll Together on, he is the only reason that the party is still alive, because his character can do this incredible tanking ability. Now, we often talk about tanks in 5e, they swallow a bunch of HP, they've got a big HP pool. But again, it's so crazy how that's not the way it works in Daggerheart. They've got the same hit points as us, same armor slots as us, give or take 1 or 2, and yes, their thresholds for damage are higher, but his abilities meant that he was able to not only not take any damage whatsoever at times, he was able to make sure we didn't take any damage, and you don't see that in 5e. Like, campaign 1, I had a shield, which I think I had the ability to be able to actually do a similar thing. But the point is, it wasn't that great, and it did take up quite a lot of my action economy. I think very much so. The combat in Daggerheart truly is something I enjoy.
Because he can do it every time. It's not just, I've used my reaction, I can't do that again now.
Yeah.
Because it's, I suppose that's then more akin to real life. If you've got somebody who's protecting somebody and there's somebody trying to attack them, you're in the way of every single one of their blows trying to stop it. It wouldn't just be, well, I've stopped it once, I've got to wait now for my turn. You stab them now.
Yeah,
and I'll
I'm tired for the next 5 seconds, so you can have at him, and then so yeah, totally. But the point is, it can only happen when we have the spotlight, and when that's not the case, when the DM gets, it can use fear, they can then have the spotlight and do what they need to or want to, and it's just a great system because it gives us all that anticipation. Oh my god, he's racked up a lot of fear because we've rolled badly, or just, I say badly, it's just the way the rolls happen, the way the dice works, and yeah, it's just great how it worked. Us being able to do our teamwork. Who wants to go first? Who's going to do what? Is it going to help someone if someone else goes first or last? And all these other things just meant that we really had that just wonderful opportunity to be able to just work as a team. And it
helps you react in the moment to the thing that's just happened to you, rather than saying, oh, you've just attacked me, but narratively, when you're trying to tell the story, I've got to wait till
I've got to wait 20 in time minutes before I can then go, that thing that happened 20 minutes ago, well, my character's still angry about that, which was only 3 seconds ago for them. It gets complicated, and and the drive's gone. Whereas no, you're absolutely right. It's like, oh, you did that great thing, or you did that, you tripped up, right, well, I pick you up, right, you do that insane move, so that inspires me to do this. And we get the opportunity to do that, and so I think that's what we found. We found in our first episode that was great. So, talking a little bit about it, we introduced the world of Foria, and a village of Crimson Hollows where we started. Very creepy town, very very weird. Village.
It's almost like town. Pleasantville, where everybody's like, "Oh, hello, everyone, we're really nice," like creepy smiles. Everything is suspiciously nice and cheery.
It was like, oh, this is great, and should we...
Almost like One Division vibes, isn't it?
Yeah, like, should we have the pie? I don't really know if that's going to be poison. But yes, you could definitely tell that something was glitchy. Something was not quite right in the area. We had, however, been told that there was the chosen three, and that might be us, and it probably happened to be us, very likely, actually, or our characters. So the prophecy of the townspeople, and they were more than happy to send us off to the tree, where we tried to find out what on earth was going on, because things were very creepy.
It was almost as if they had a prophecy that 3 people would help save their town. There just happened to be 3 of us, and then we almost made it a self-fulfilling prophecy, almost, where we made ourselves become the 3, because just so happened that one of the party, me, Tiki, is a druid, and is like an elemental druid. So he was kind of almost picking up on the tree and what was beneath the tree eventually, which, spoiler alert, we'll come to in a bit. So he was almost being spoken to. So just by happenstance, if it had been somebody else coming to the town who was of a similar ilk, they probably would have been spoken to, and they would have become the fated 3 or whatever. But we just happened to be, hang on a minute, the tree's talking to me. Tiki went off on a tangent trying to find out where this voice was coming from, and we walked headlong into our fate, as it in air quotes.
We subsequently did find this egg, this world seed, as we then came to know it was, underneath the tree, and it was actually infecting the tree and the surrounding area. And the world seed connected with you, as you say, the elemental druid, and you found a connection to it. It wanted to not be there. It wanted to be higher up.
Because it was. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, this was in a fight that, again, really showed us as players how Daggerheart worked, and it was... we were all kind of reeling, because it was like, crikey, this is how it works, is this right? But it was great fun, and truly allowed us to work as a team in ways that I do feel that 5e struggles to allow you to work as a team.
Mechanically,
individual, people on a battlefield, whereas this truly felt very much more team-like. But yeah, you jumped in and connected with this world seed.
Because they had the Hollow Hearts Festival, but it was all going a bit wrong. There was earthquakes happening through the town, and it was all... The vibe was off, if we oversimplify it. But underneath, it was like, we couldn't decide was it the seed killing the tree? Was it the tree killing the seed? Which was the cause of the problem? To use a bad pun, chicken and egg, which one came first, which one was causing the problem? Then we were obviously fighting all of these creatures at the same time. So then Tiki decided, right, I'm not going to fight this seed. I'm going to try and be friends with it, because I'm all about Mother Nature. Why would I try and kill it? So I communed with it. It then told me, actually, it's this town and it's this tree that's killing me. You need to get me away from here. You need to save me from this place. Essentially, I'm a hostage. So, and the only way to do that was for Tiki, being the tree hugger that he is. Okay, then I'll take you with me. And that actually took the form of a symbiosis where the seed rooted itself into my chest.
It did. Now, certainly at the end of that episode, like we said, we thought that was going to be a one-shot, so we thought, great. Happy days.
It was literally us riding off into the sunset, leaving Crimson Hollow in our dust.
Which could very well be falling into ruin right now. But we then loved it so much, we were like, you know what, guys, we're going to bring this back. Let's bring it back. So... we did then find that, obviously, what are we going to do? And my idea was this world seed was great, was good, was wonderful, and at that time very much was great. Let's help it. Let's fix it. Episode 2 rolls around, and we end up with. Thankfully, at that point, Bodhi and Tom could join us. And so we then had all 5 of us, 5, 6, 5 players, 6 people. Or, is that right?
Yeah, me, you,
that is right.
Tom, Bodhi.
Just get so confused.
5 plus. Fucking hell. Really good maths in the moment there.
We're terrible. We're terrible. Welcome to Streamer Brain, guys. So we like, we need to carry this on. So we then, figure out where we're going. We've got the map up. We're going, right, it wants to get to the highest place. So we first of all choose where that's going to be, decide as a party, and then we go, right, let's head off.
Yeah, and that's how I suppose we ended up bonding with the new characters. So Bodhi's character is this warrior samurai type who wants to be the best swordsman in the world. Tom's character is a ribbit, so a frog assassin, who's just almost like a paid mercenary type vibe. We meet them on the road. Long story short, we tell them what is the world seed needs to go to the highest place. Bodhi's character, Zahale, knows of this ancient place that he's trying to get to, which is essentially a floating city in the clouds. That achieves both our aims, so we're both on the same journey. We might as well go together. But as they ask questions about the seed, does that then sow seeds of doubt, to do another bad pun? So then I end up communing with the seed to say, actually, what do you want to do when you get there? Because if I've just rescued you from that place, which was apparently killing you, what's the point in planting you in the highest place? And you're not going to terraform the earth, because if you remember, Tiki had visions of it landing in a meteor. And then when I say that, one of the other characters goes, well, how do you know it's not going to try and take over the world then, if it's from another worldly place? And I was like, oh, shit. So then I ask it, and it goes, no, I'm here to protect, grow, and protect. So not take over the world, protect the world, because it's my new home. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's legit. That checks out.
Yeah. So again,
little did I know there was a creeping influence, and the signs were there, but we didn't spot the red flags with this either. We're not very good at spotting red flags, Dave.
No, we're not. We're too trusting. We're far too trusting in any campaign.
The roots were growing in me.
Yeah.
It was starting to affect my decision making. Although it gave me new boons and I suppose new abilities, it added a voice inside my head, which was every time I got distracted from the path we were going, it was like, get back on track. You need to take me to this place. And it was getting more and more urgent with its voice in my head, which again was a red flag, which I ignored.
Yeah, well, we were really good at that one. That was again our second opportunity to get through another fight. We were ambushed by ghostly warriors on our path to our journey. We did also, very interestingly, on the way past a particular area on the map, that we randomly decided to RP, and now it's canon that we accidentally burned down a town. In like not underground, but sort of on a cliffside, or sort of
near where you were from.
So that's now canon. That in some sort of prequel, we burn that down. So maybe that needs to become some really silly Patreon only one shot where we accidentally do that.
We act out the aftermath of some these people
just
coming through town. Like we're characters, but our characters come through town and accidentally set it on fire, because it came about something stupid. Like we said something like, "Oh, I've only got one eyebrow," and I was like, "Yeah, but we don't talk about the fire of 22."
Yes,
and
exactly.
Then as a joke, and then Matt made that canon,
canonised.
and then the other characters asked about it, so then we had to flesh out what this fucking backstory was, and it turns out we accidentally burnt down a place.
Yeah.
I've got to stop saying silly shit.
No, it's the best stuff, and it really builds the world quickly, because we've already got a map of Foria, and we know that we've been to these places, and it's just perfect. It's really great. Very impressively, again, Oddrin's incredible resilience really does negate just incredible power that comes from our enemies. So he's truly incredible in a fight. But rather impressively, it was actually Griswold that did lethal precision to take down the enemy commander in our fight, and that ended our particular fight and episode that day. So yeah, we had grown our party, and it could, Daggerheart could still handle it well, because again, that thing where it's RP heavy, but also in the fight you can work as a team, and that was where it didn't feel like we had to be waiting forever for our turn, because our turn can be literally the next time we speak, and that's great, and that was really good fun. So it brings us on to, I think, our I personally might find that it trumps episode 1, and that was our 3rd episode. It really did shine through, and I was curious as to whether it would, because episode 1 for us all was really good fun, but actually we had absolutely smashed it on episode 3 because we had some shenanigans. We found ourselves next to a rope bridge, and we had to cross it. And it was far too far for us to do anything other than go on the rope bridge, so we had to try. We were warned it was going to be dangerous, that essentially the gorge would not want us to pass, and that there would be challenges along the way. We found some of this information by the fact that Tiki, your character, decided to speak to, was it a daffodil?
It was a suspicious-looking plant. So he was looking shady, so I decided to have a chat with him, and he gave me all the intel. But it turns out that
they're just kinky as well.
Oh yeah, he was a dirty northern boy. But I think Bodhi said it on the stream. The only thing that stumps us more than doors, turns out, is a fucking bridge.
Yeah.
So we can't get through doors and we can't cross bridges. I think if we was to map out, like on Strava, what we'd done, we'd moved on the map about that far.
Yeah, absolutely.
But actually, the chaos and shenanigans of the first half, where we spent the whole first half of the stream trying to get over this bridge hilariously, was then juxtaposed by actually we made, in the last 20 minutes of the episode, a lot of plot progression and a pivotal change in the trajectory of the story, really. Considering it's a whimsical story, it actually got quite dark towards the end.
It did.
In terms of the ramifications of it.
We had... This rope bridge had us, you turning into a wolf spider. We had a hawk. We also
gorilla.
We had Griswold not turning into anything, but Griswold ending up being held by my character, being held by the tongue because he was currently a kite. Had to pull him back, make his way across. Then you had Zahale trying to make it across with you, and then of course Odrin as the big hulking sort of, is he an orc, sort of orc? Yep. Goliath sort of thing. Yep. Being the heaviest, he did eventually basically break the bridge, but thankfully we did manage to get him up and over the other side. But again, his incredible feats meant that he managed to take no damage, but he did severely damage his armor. And as you say, shenanigans for the first half of that episode were absolutely tremendous. You just see us all having so much fun. So guys, if you ever want to play Daggerheart, seriously, it's good fun. And if you want to watch Daggerheart, well, then we will continue on with this mini-series.
And I do think this episode, in a microcosm, shows you how silly you can play Daggerheart, and then also how seriously you can play Daggerheart.
Yeah, because in one 3-hour episode.
In this same episode, or as we realised that once we got over the bridge, we were like, why is it so hard to get to where we want to go? Why is almost Mother Nature fighting us on this? There's a storm rolling in, which is creating wind air wraiths that are attacking us. So we got into another big fight with like an army of air elemental type creatures. And then I was like, what is happening? And then all the while, the seed is in the back of my head telling me to go. You're delaying the inevitable. Get me to my place. You need to take me now. And then through the seed, I was given the ability to, in any place I am that's in nature, so that'd be earth, stone, trees, forest, I can almost commune with the land and get the memories of the land to find out what happened.
Yeah.
So in Tiki's head, he was like, this land must be cursed if we can't get across this bridge. Why is that? So I tried to tap into the memories of the land, but what I actually ended up, because I failed my roll, but actually ended up being a good thing in the end, is I ended up getting more memories of the seed of more than one meteor landing. So there was one that landed in Crimson Hollow, which is the seed we have. One landed and went into the sea. And there was 3 more that are scattered about the earth.
Yeah.
And it turns out that this actually might not be the good thing that it was, and it could be a terraform the earth situation. But that's when, obviously, you'll have to explain this bit, because Matt made me take my headphones off and describe what happened to me while I was in this trance that, obviously, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, so, I mean, as you say, you've had the chance to be able to catch up if you so choose, and therefore I will tell you kind of what happened. So, yes, you had your headphones off, and at this point, we're told what we see, and that is these red tendrils now creeping up on you from the earth and from the egg. We could definitely tell that it wasn't good for you. So Odrin, just like, you need to be saved, just smacked you with his shield with incredible force to basically just break you out of it. You're entirely unconscious and seeing all these visions at the moment, so that's why you didn't know that any of the things that we were planning to do. So he I think was it him and Zahael? I think it was between the two of them, because he smacked you, and then Zahael was then going to cut the ribbons.
Because then when I woke up, when he smashed me, it sort of broke the roots that had gone into the earth.
That was it. So
because he'd smacked it, the steed was almost dazed, and it stopped communing with me, which then gave me clarity to realise, actually, I'm sworn to protect Mother Earth. This actually wants to take over the Earth in a way. It's a corrupting force. It's not here to protect nature. It's here to kind of take it over.
Yeah.
And without its voice in my head to convince me otherwise,
I was like, it was bad. Yeah.
We need to get it out, and we need to get it out now.
So Odrin came to the rescue again and grabbed this thing and tried to rip it out of your chest.
Literally did it like type Mortal Kombat move.
Zahael then cut the roots from it between it and you, meaning that you ended up in a comatose, basically death state.
Well, Matt was like, Odrin, can you roll? And then he critted, which then doubled all the damage. And I was like, hang on, if you roll the damage, that's the damage I'm going to take, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's like, yep. And I was like, fuck, which was great, RP wise, because it meant Tiki died, right? He hit all his HP points, which then means for the first time, RPing it live in real life, we got to do the death move.
We did, and again, a little bit of a background into the Daggerheart death system. It gives you the agency to do what you want to do. In 3 or 4 different ways you can do it, but that's in a tremendous amount of choice. First of all, you can go out in a blaze of glory, where you could have decided that you're going to die at the end of this, but whatever you choose to do succeeds. That didn't make sense in where we were. If you're in a big battle boss fight, it very much can feel like blaze of glory is the way you want to go.
Yeah.
The other option was just fall unconscious, where you can you don't have to roll for anything. You just fall unconscious. That's it. You may get a scar, but that's it. And then the other one is you let the dice decide. Now the reason that you can go, well, why would you do that? Well, here's what you do. You either have, if you roll with fear, as the higher number of your 2 dice, duality dice, you die. So there's still a risk in this. However, if you roll with hope, then the difference you have in that are the numbers that you can then use to then give yourself incredible, I say temporary boon. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, so if you
can use it to basically heal yourself to remove...
with the 50-50, so you back up on your feet, and then whatever number you've rolled, you can use to clear your HP and clear all your stress and give yourself hope.
Now,
so you can basically come back revigored. Like in wrestling when they jump up off the mat when they're on their back and then do the finishing move, essentially like that.
Now, the great thing was we were able to talk through all of this, and Danny, I agree with what you did. I think it was the right choice. I think, again, story-wise, what you chose fits so well. You went unconscious, and you ended up with a scar. And that scar,
which I voluntarily chose to have rather than rolling for it.
But again, it all works for you to be able to do that. Because we've ripped this bloody world seed out of your chest, so of course you're going to have a scar. So it makes sense. And it worked brilliantly. Now, you are currently unconscious, and my character chose to then pick you up and take you running towards this this tavern that is nearby us that we had found after our travels. And then we ended up on this incredible cliffhanger as a mysterious, heavily armoured warrior walks in to say, the mark of the verdant bane has found you. And we were like, what the hell does that mean? Anyway, one hell of a cliffhanger, because we want to know what on earth is this character on about, and where the hell have we just run into? More importantly, can we get Tiki back?
Well, what was quite interesting, so this is obviously an exclusive reveal, because I was getting DMs whispers from Matt while we were playing. I chose to voluntarily take a scar. So Matt was like, when they eventually bring you back from consciousness, you will have vague memory loss and things like that, a bit of confusion like concussion style, but you will have lost a pivotal, cherished core memory, and I'm yet to decide what that will be. So that could be, I forget my family, I forget where I come from, I forget the oath I've made to nature, or whatever. It could be
the first time that you met either one of Odrin and
it could be you two. Yeah. I could forget you two. So I'm yet to choose what that memory is, but the way Matt chose to manifest its scar, because what I didn't realise is when I first bonded with the World Seed, I got a boon. So Matt homebrewed me a card, because in Daggerheart you have physical cards with your abilities and traits and stuff. He made me one with the boon, which was the Verdant Conduit, which is I could do the memories of the earth.
Yeah.
And obviously, if hope was higher, I get a true memory. If fear is higher, it's tinged with the seeds'
Falsehoods.
Views and stuff.
Yeah.
If I'd have continued to be in symbiosis with it, he homebrewed another card, which was the seed's curse.
Yeah.
And then that curse would have started to twist me and turn me dark and change who I am fundamentally as a person. Right? So I've escaped that in a way, but actually the scar I've got is a bit of that curse. So my memory loss is a little bit of the curse that's left, because it would have like I said, it would have changed who I am. I wouldn't have been Tiki anymore. I'd have been a dark force for this seed, essentially. So that curse is now what I'm left with. So I'll actually read what it was. So the curse is Twisted Root Curse. So what would have happened is the seed no longer waits for your touch. It intrudes on its own, whispering when it wants. Roots coil visibly up your arm. The seed's hum grows loud enough for others to hear. The more you resist, the deeper it digs in. So basically, once per rest, the seed may force a vision upon you, and if on a hope dominant roll, I resist it. If not, I mark a stress. But if it's fear dominant or I failed, the seed overwhelms me, and it can twist my memories, manipulate my emotions, speak through me, basically use me as a puppet.
Wow.
So I've escaped that, but the curse I'm left with, which is my scar, is the twisted memories. So I've got to think of how I'm permanently impacted by it, which is pretty cool. So actually, we were right. We did the right thing, because I would have ended up being a literal puppet for this seed.
No, very interesting, because I'll be honest, as a player, I only realised literally the end of episode 3 that this world seed was bad. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's absolutely crazy. I was just like, well, of course we've got to do this one. Obviously, you don't really know what's going to happen in the future. You don't really know what memories you're going to lose and what other abilities and so on and so forth. But as you said, you were this world seeds champion, and it was brutally ripped out of your chest by Odrin. Walk us through the emotional journey that is, Tiki, Odrin, and Zahael. How do you view both of your friends now? To what they did to you?
I think when I come round and I figure out what's happened, to Tiki, they will have saved his life. Yeah. They will have helped him dodge what could have been a catastrophic event. So Tiki, one of his experiences is Mother Earth Protector. So he is sworn to protect nature and Mother Earth. Yeah. So in his head, when he became the champion, in air quotes, for the seed, he thought he was doing what was best to protect the Earth. Because the seed was in this place, the world around it seemed to be dying. So saving the seed seemed to save Crimson Hollow for a start. And then when he said he wants to be planted, or they wanted to be planted in the highest place to then protect the world, that made sense. What better way to protect Mother Earth than with this all-powerful world seed? I mean, even the name world seed sounds like it's a good thing, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. No, yeah, absolutely.
But then
does, yeah.
That started to wane, and then once you'd knocked it out of me and its influence had diminished somewhat, I then realised, no, actually, I'm protecting Mother Earth, but what I'm doing here is hurting Mother Earth, because I then interpreted the air wraiths and the storms, and the road was getting harder and harder, even though it's literally, we just got to walk up to this place. Yeah. Why is it so hard? I then realised Mother Earth is trying to slow us down.
Trying to stop you, yeah.
It's trying to stop me. So actually, I'm breaking my oath to protect nature by the oath I've made to this seed. I thought they were one and the same oath. Turns out they were opposed to each other. Yeah. So actually, I think them saving me was the best thing, because obviously it was my idea to rip it out. But I had that moment where I was like, shit, I'm actually doing the wrong thing here.
Do you think that it's in any part that Tiki would feel that he had been naive to have been so trusting?
I do think, because he is quite a trusting character. If you give him a reason not to trust you, he won't. But to everyone's trustworthy until proven otherwise to him, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. That's a very nice way of looking at it. You know, again, yes, you can fall foul, but also it's how we should all live, really.
And what I'm yet to determine is what Tiki will be like when he wakes up. So I know we want to keep it whimsical, but it could be quite a dark turn. So I haven't chose what memory I lose yet, but it could be I wake up and I am just nature's warrior. I could be like, not nature's assassin, but I'm just nature's mercenary. There's no whimsical, it's like, right, hang on, you hurt that tree, I'm fucking chopping your head off. Or you've stood on a plant, I'm going to chop your foot off. It could be that kind of level of...
That could still lead to fun shenanigans, you know, like I said, you know, that maybe, again, Farneth needs to be the you know, your conscience for a while to actually... You know, yes, he was oblivious to nature, but maybe he's like, you know, as you say, you heard that tree, I'm going to cut your head off, and the Farneth is trying to hold you back, like, no, we need to chill, we need to calm, you know, count to 1 to 10, and you know, and that could be a very interesting, you know, comical, duel that we've got going on. So that might be very interesting. With that, and going back to the shenanigans that were earlier on in the season, episode, sorry, the transformations that you were able to do to actually survive the road bridge. What is it like playing a character that can change his physical form so fluidly and adaptively? What's it like?
Because I've always wanted to play a druid in D&D, but I've never picked one. I think because we had an NPC who was a druid, I always like to try and do something different, complete opposite to what I've done before, and I was worried if I did a druid in D&D, it would end up just being like a rehash of a character I'd already done. So it was nice to play.
Also, I think for both you and I, playing a wizard or a druid is basically like, you know, stabbing ourselves in the foot. It's difficult. There's a lot going on with both wizards and druids. It's very, very difficult. So for that, we've gone, there's too much work. Whereas druid in Daggerheart is actually, well, just as easy as the bard.
And the fact that I could be a Simia, which is a monkey person, I was like, wow, it's all coming together for me. Yeah. So I think as well, because the wild shape essentially it's less restrictive. So as long as I've got, the way I've interpreted it anyway, as long as I've got stress to spend, I can transform into beast form whenever I want, which is then like what you would expect a druid to do in battle. They've turned into a bear, and then all of a sudden they've turned into a snake, and then they've turned into a bird to escape in battle. So it was treating it like that. So I thought, right, first of all, I used my vicious entangle to try and support the bridge and make it stronger with vines. That didn't seem to work. So I was like, right.
No, it did help. I think we
for
would
not
have
the
been
length of the bridge.
Well, yes. Yeah.
And then I was like, right, hang on, I can turn into a spider here, which can use web slinging, and it can support the weight of people. So I was like, right, I'll just support the bridge with webs.
Yeah.
Turns out we were then joking because like, hang on, have you turned into a normal sized spider, or have you turned into a big fucking spider?
I was going to say, then we had that right issue of, are you the size of a 10 pence piece or a car? And we couldn't quite work out what you were.
Because wolf spider sounds intimidating, but when you Google them, they're not actually that very big.
Yeah, they're actually tiny. I mean, they look intimidating in a close-up lens, but you know, it still was very funny, and we did do a little bit of a rule is cool and made you like, you know, size of a hamster or something. I think about it.
I was a cat. I was the size of a reliant robin when I.
So
I was a cat-sized spider.
You were. Yes, you were.
And then that didn't seem to work. So then I turned into a hawk because I thought, right, there's only one person left to get across the bridge after everyone else got across. If I just fly on the wind as a hawk, then Odrin just needs to get across and everything's fine.
Which, to be fair, Zahale had a very good point, and I was going, why the hell did you not do that in the first place?
Yep. But what I was trying to do is turning into a hawk only helps me get across.
It does.
I was trying to turn into other things to help everyone else get across, but, probably made it worse. Then turns out you guys were getting attacked, or then they're not attacked. Odrin smashed in and he was trying to climb up. You were trying to save him, and I was like, fuck. So then I dive bombed through the wind, landed as a giant silverback gorilla to use my strength to then pull him up through the thing.
Scaring the crap out of Farmers as well.
It was good to have because when I leveled up, I chose to have an extra stress slot as well. I had enough resource to spend, and then obviously after that I'd spaffed it all, but luckily you've got an ability as a bard where you can allow me to clear stress, so that working together meant I could just keep doing it for RP purposes.
Looking at
really fun,
well over half of the abilities of the bard, I was like, I'm really struggling to know when I need to use these, and then I mean, again, I didn't know that you were using stress to do that. You probably said it, but I just wasn't twigging, with me. But I obviously was asking who's full on stress and stuff. No, the bard really does have the ability to actually replenish your skills incredibly well, and therefore, it's weird how I kind of see that the bard is like a D&D cleric. They're the replenisher. And yet I can still play it like a bard. There are still things that they can do. There's support functions while still being able to fight, and do you know what? Just works really well.
But you being the diplomat or the support function in your class then is helped by the fact that you are, I forgot what they call the Dragonborn in Daggerheart, Dracona or something.
Yes, something like that.
That means you can still kick ass because you've got your ice breath attack where you single-handedly just fucking wiped out everybody.
Yes, I mean, that is very cool. And to be fair, I do like leaning on that more than I can technically also bring out a rapier. It just doesn't feel as right. It's good for when I maybe have ran out of everything else.
It feels like you'd use it more as a symbolic, I challenge you to a duel gentlemanly, rather than actually want to stab people with it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, 100%. Or just like, or maybe again that's the thing of like the breath weapon's going to catch one of my friends, therefore I'll go straight for the sword. But there are other things that they can do. It just didn't seem right in that fight on episode 3. Using, I think there's one, can't remember what it's called, slumber, where basically to make him go to sleep. I'm like, nah, it doesn't help. But it did help in other ones. It was very useful. So it's still a very fluid mechanic in the bard. So very.
See, I suppose you're like the diplomat of the group.
Yeah.
And you'd rather solve a problem with words, but is Farnath, he's not opposed to violence, I suppose, is he? He'll do it if it needs to, but words first, right?
Words first, but often on the way. And again, even then, like I said, he's got that slumber, so he can use his words to take someone peacefully out of the fight, and so on and so forth. And yeah, maybe there should be more roles that I should take in trying to get them to find peaceful ways out of fights. But yeah, absolutely, he's very much the diplomat.
And with him seeing himself as a people person, do you think he will have any guilt or any ramifications emotionally from not seeing what was happening to Tiki and maybe trying to stop it before it got this bad?
I think maybe he's also going to feel slightly naive. Maybe he's not going to realise that this thing that had latched itself to your chest was a bad thing, and that he literally walked into this, malignant, thing has latched onto Tiki, and he didn't even realise. He didn't think that this was maybe time for negotiations, and so he's been walking around, like a bit of a plum, not kind of realising. So yeah, maybe I don't think that he would have. Would he have wanted to be like, no, guys, let's sit down, let's try and commune with the World Seed, and probably the speed and action, the speed in which Odrin reacted was probably better than Farnath going, no, let's sit down at a table and try and commune with this thing. It's like, no, action was required quickly. And again, maybe that's where he does fall short, where actually he does stumble, where quick action is not his forte, where it's more planning and chatting, where he would do better, and maybe that will be the answer as to why there was the Great Fire of 22. So we don't know.
Didn't act fast enough.
Yeah, so yeah, that could very well be it.
Don't tell Matt that, because that'll be canon now. It's actually your fault for the Fire of 22, and me and Odrin are just accessories because you tried to negotiate while somebody was setting fire to something behind us.
It could very well be the case, and I'd be quite happy with that, because I think it's just a very comical view, isn't it? I somehow suddenly feel that Farnath is Hugh Grant, and he's like, no. What we just need to do is just calm down. This is not going to... as he just flames behind him.
That meme where that person's in a house on fire, and he's just going, everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
No, it's fine. We can sort this out.
This is just a mishap, and it's going to blow itself out in a moment. Yeah, absolutely. That's 100%. I think what happened there. Very, very interesting outlook on that one. I hadn't really quite thought about it, but yeah, that is definitely his diplomatic side definitely has flaws.
So we've left both Campaign 2 and Foria on cliffhangers. The only one that's going to be resolved is Campaign 2 next week, because Daggerheart isn't for a few weeks, the next episode.
It isn't.
So that cliff will hang for a while.
It will indeed. I'm very interested to know, where that's going to be. And yeah, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. One thing we did want to very briefly cover after this was just to say, guys, obviously we haven't spoken about Orbital Blues. The reason we haven't spoken about that one, it is now a complete 5-part series. If you do want to catch up on it, then it is all available on YouTube and on podcasts, wherever you find them. So as it's a 5-parter, it's not too hard to sort of jump into and catch up on, and you will find it very, very good fun. So
some of my finest work, if I do say so myself.
We've all thoroughly enjoyed it, and I have to say we got warnings. It's very silly, but we got very, very emotional at the end of Walk 2. My goodness me. So yeah, content warnings on that one, but it was one hell of a ride, and it was great fun. So yeah, we're not going to cover that one because, quite frankly, go watch them. It's 5 episodes, you'll love them.
I mean, if you're watching something on the internet with tissues, it's usually for 2 reasons, but this one is for tears. Just to be prepared.
I mean, we are a handsome lot, so
yeah, Matt always plays some kind of sexual icon with his characters. Any character he creates are like too sexy to be real.
Yeah. In both Campaign 2 and yeah, absolutely, and in Orbital Blues. So yeah,
it's just Matt wants to make us flirt with him. That's all it is.
It is, but it's very easy being the DM. So yeah, do go and join that one. Again, guys, any questions you have about Campaign 2, Daggerheart, or any of the one-shots that we do, feel free to join our Discord, where you can then pose us those questions. Of course, you can join us on Twitch and YouTube if you want to then ask us live. But yeah, if you ever want to get them in, then make sure you get them in on Discord.
Or if you're watching on demand 2 weeks' time, pop a question, comment. Yeah, we'll reply.
We will indeed, and or we will wait until our next recap to then address it, so that you can actually get a live response from us. But yeah, and a quick reminder to you all about the giveaway. There are many ways in which you can enter, and many ways in which you can get those then tickets that enter you into the draw to get all of the wonderful prizes that we have. First of all is first place is that Daggerheart core set, and like I said, we absolutely love it. Danny's currently searching for his now, so he can show you. There it is.
It's not this one, because this one's mine, but Matt's got a cellophane version untouched by human hands.
So yes, and then Danny, can you roll off what the other
Yes.
what the other ones are, please?
Second prize is a dice tray bag set from our friends at Trade and Tested, and third prize is 5 Patreon subscriptions for 3 months to give away. Where all of our extra bits and bobs and exclusive content is.
There are many things on our Patreon already, guys, that are private that cannot be seen by normal things. Hello and thank you for the raid. Oh, that's very generous of you. Hello, Roll Together. Hello, all you peeps. We are just talking about our giveaway, so we're going to probably just recap it very quickly for you. Anyone who is currently here, if you want to get in on our giveaway, there are many ways in which you can do that one. You can... Danny, I'm going to send it back to you because you've got the list in front of you. What are the ways that you can get in to this giveaway?
So, subscribe to the Patreon, subscribe to the Twitch, follow, like on Twitch, engage on the giveaway posts, so like and subscribe on all of the social platforms essentially. Reshare the post, tag us in the post, use the hashtag MaltMagicTurns5. All of those get you tickets into the draw. Obviously the subscriptions get you more tickets into the draw, and then we'll announce the winner live on stream at the beginning of October to give everyone a chance to enter through the month of September.
And to respond to chat, Talia, unfortunately you can't have a pony. Well, maybe you can have a pony, but it's fortunately not in the giveaway. However, we do have
brought you a picture of a pony.
Yeah, we probably could do that. It would be a terrible one. So,
shit.
Yeah, I mean, feel free. Enter the draw and find out if you're going to get a drawing of a pony from one of the amazing.
Fourth place prize is a picture I've drawn of a My Little Pony.
But yeah, however, the prizes that we do have are, to go over again, we've got the Daggerheart core set. We have, and I can never remember what second place is, Danny.
The dice tray set from Trade and Tested.
That's the one. Trade and Tested. Thank you very much to Trade and Tested. And then we have the Patreon subscriptions, gifted subscriptions, for third place. So please do follow us on socials and all the other things that are going to get you the tickets into the giveaway, because we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to. We're going to draw that at the start of October. And we're going to do it live. So again, join us so you can find out whether you've won.
Boom.
There we go.
Good timing for the raid, guys, because we're actually just about to finish. So
yes, we have. As you can tell, this has been
a pony, so you got in there right at the end for a
absolutely.
pony. So.
This has been a recap of our episodes 84 to 95 of our main campaign, as well as we have been blushing. Gushing over Daggerheart, which the wonderful Josh from Roll Together has been a wonderful guest member on.
And we said nothing but nice things about you and Audrey, Josh.
We did, because quite frankly, he's the only reason we're still kicking. So yeah, that's the whole reason. So yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in tonight. We are back with campaign 2 next week. So join us for that, because we're going to be still in a fight. So it's going to start off with some high intensity combat as we get back in next week, and then we're going to be finding out whether we can find this infernal extra. Is it the abyssal core? The abyssal core.
The abyssal core.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
This infernal.
Racket? Is it? Yeah, is it a cricket bat? I don't know. So yes, tune in to find out whether we can find any more information about that one as we fight what is lovingly the flood from Halo, basically. But we with our own little D&D flair to it. So yes, thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it, and we will see you next week.